Hello, everybody. I'm Jaret Reddick. And this is a podcast. Jaret Goes to the Movies. Hopefully you have seen or heard one of my many musical endeavors. And if you have, then you know how much I love movies. This is movie commentary with no movie knowledge. This podcast is me and my friend Rich talking about movies that we like. But my name's on it because I'm famous. This is Jaret Goes to the Movies. Still. Okay, we're starting now.
Dun 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 dun.
Okay, so when I asked you if you pulled in the music, Rich, you intentionally didn't pull in the music so that you could be singing the
It's
intro.
fucking awesome!
Too. It is awesome.
It's so awesome.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jaret. This is Jaret Goes to the Movies. With me, as always, is Rich.
Hello.
And that was him doing the intro. I fucking shouldn't even asked you. We were in here getting ready for this podcast, and I said, hey, you pulled in the music, right? And I don't want to give away too much, but that's like one of the 4 things I have to talk about with this movie. But so I was so excited to hear the theme in my headphones, and then
It's so amazing.
Yeah, but it's way better when you're not singing it, and it's just the actual thing. First of all, I do want to say thank you to everybody who's been listening to the podcast. This is our 5th episode, and 5 episodes in, we're doing 1,200 listens a day. The response has been absolutely amazing, and our thought process on all of this is onward and upward from here, and to do more with this podcast and start adding a few other podcasts. But today, we will be doing Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
And does this have like is it Raiders of the Lost Ark like / something or just Raiders of the Lost Ark?
It released as Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then later on, after the other 2 movies were called Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Indiana Jones and
The guy who lost his way, Indiana Jones.
That's my favorite one, too.
The Last Crusade.
Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Last. Thank you, Mark.
Indiana Jones and the Cherokee hooker who couldn't find her shoes.
So what they did was so that the DVDs look symmetrical or
they look good.
They
file
line
away.
up. They
Yeah.
line up on the shelves. They went back and
Yeah.
changed it to Indiana Jones.
I bet they're
and Raiders of
stoked
the Lost Ark.
they spent that money now, you know? Because now it doesn't.
No one gives a shit about
nobody
DVDs
has
now.
that. I mean, where are your DVDs now? But yours are
They're
probably
all in a closet, but
right. Yeah, mine
Yeah.
are in a plastic tub,
yeah.
not alphabetized.
Rich's fucking mind was blown. Like
What?
2 weeks ago, I took him to a video store.
Oh my
And he was
God.
like, what are you talking about, a video store? I was like, dude, it's right by my house. He's like, they don't make those anymore.
There is one. It's crazy.
What did you go to the video store for? My mind is equally as blown. What did you go there
That was
for?
Mark, by the way. Hi,
What did
Mark.
we go to get?
Yes,
we went to get something
We
in
went.
particular.
We ended up getting 21 Jump Street 1 and 2.
But do you pay money for that?
Yeah, it's family video.
Yeah, it was a rental.
Yeah, but you have like on demand. Is it cheaper than that?
Actually, you know what? I remember AT&T was out.
Yeah,
It wasn't
AT&T was
working.
out.
It wasn't
That's
working at his house. We had no internet. You
Oh,
think
okay.
about Rich without internet.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
I
it was
can't
that bad.
imagine me without
could've
internet.
walked
Just so
up
you know,
and down the
Redbox
aisles.
is that's how you rent a movie if you've gone to get allergy medication
From
Yes.
CVS.
from CVS and you've decided, you know what, I need to see a Will Smith movie right now. So just to get the intros, like I think people are figuring it out, but Mark is Casey's dad and soon to be my father-in-law,
And Rich is my godfather.
and Rich is her self-proclaimed godfather,
Which has stuck.
trying to make it stick.
No, it's stuck.
Okay, well, let's not give Rich any more titles. Just
I'm the best friend godfather.
are you
Partner.
so you being his best friend, are you aware that he's obsessed with Magnum PI's shorts?
Yes, he talks about it a lot.
He hasn't listened to the podcast.
No.
That's all he wants in life
And you let this man be
is
my
for those
godfather?
shorts to come back so he can show off his legs.
I think everyone is with me on this.
You wore a
Dude,
skirt to
his
Halloween,
legs
we
don't
get it.
start until they're below the knees.
We get it.
That's what
it's
he
like,
said.
That's
He's
what I'm
like,
saying.
it's like if he was Popeye,
Right.
but instead of the big fucking forearms, he's got these giant calves.
Yeah, you can see those at Jaret Goes to the Movies on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing sandals like a UNT college girl.
He's like an extra in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the
It's
Temple.
just ugly, the jealousy when it
Yeah.
comes out. Just all of you.
We're watching Raiders of the Lost Ark this week. Archaeologist and adventurer Indiana Jones is hired by the U.S. government to find the Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis. I didn't remember Nazis being involved in this
Are you
movie.
kidding?
No, so I'll just
You know
open-
why? Because you thought this was 2. You watched 2 and thought this was 1.
I think you might be right,
I know
actually.
I'm right, because that's
so,
what was short round in it.
So this is what happened. I actually do think that you're right. I think I actually didn't go to the movies and see 1. I think all of my friends saw 1.
Right.
And, obviously it's this huge blockbuster thing. And I think I went to the movies and saw, Temple of Doom.
Which was terrible. Which is why you didn't like Raiders of the
Well,
Lost
no,
Ark.
I don't think that I didn't like that. I
wasn't
just,
good.
really honestly, until right now, I'm realizing that I had not seen Indiana Jones, the first one, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I have never seen
So this was
before.
your first viewing.
time.
That's what I thought.
And for you to say that The Goonies is a children's version of this ridiculous movie
What? How are this is
absolutely
blasphemous.
just breaks my heart.
This is amazing. This
breaks
is a
my
perfect
heart.
movie.
This is not a perfect
This
movie.
is such a perfect movie.
This is a perfect movie, again, for children. But I don't understand how Goonies is a children's version of this movie that couldn't hold my fucking attention, but my 9-year-old fucking completely stopped talking while the movie was on, and that never happens.
Are you serious?
100%. And
yeah,
Everett's
he's 3.
Everett's 3 years old, and he's like, okay, this scared me. I don't want to watch it, yet he does not take his eyes off the movie the whole time. Now, okay, so before we get into any and all of that, I do want to make that clear that that was a realization for me. I've never seen
Raiders
of the Lost Ark. I had only seen Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. But it's so fun how all of these podcasts sort of do tie themselves together. And maybe it's because we are sort of focused right now in a certain decade. We kind of haven't really...
Yeah, so this is 81.
81. And...
Where were you in 81?
5th grade.
Okay, yeah.
And, probably watching movies, but I didn't go see this one. Big into sports. And
Yeah, you weren't like going to movies with your friends at this point. I mean, this was too young.
I probably was, but it was that whole deal where, you get dropped off, picked up, that kind of thing. I definitely wasn't playing with action figures. I was never that kid. So, was this that kind of movie? Was it an action figure movie where you
Not really.
No?
No, not really. So in 81, I was in Louisiana. This is where I was nerdy kid. Wasn't popular at all. My parents had these parties. They were
Key parties?
hook up and swap parties. Right. So they would hook up a VCR and swap movies.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So they would go to these parties and everyone would bring their giant Betamax, and then they'd hook up all the VCRs and they'd play movies and record them from one VCR to another.
Sure.
And meanwhile, they're just socializing and stuff.
Because
that's
people,
where we got all
one
our
thing that
movies.
we haven't really talked about is how much a movie cost back then. When everybody started getting VCRs, to buy a VHS, which was the first way we could really get them.
I don't even think they were renting.
It was
at this point.
$100. Well, I remember the first rental place was a place that sold TVs, and they rented a few. But I remember this like it was yesterday. You had to go in with a check, and you had to write the check to them for $100, and then they held the check. My mom had to do this so that we could rent movies. There's no credit cards at the time,
Yeah, that's crazy.
that's like back at Visa or MasterCharge. And people, you would go in and you would rent the VCR too. You would rent the VCR and 2 movies, and it was such and such amount of money, and you'd go home. And to buy a movie back then was unheard of. It was $100, $120, and then of course you went into, as you said, Beta. I don't remember anybody having that.
Well, they had the whole Betamax versus VHS. The thing with Betamax was there was no copyright protection on it. So with VHS, which eventually won against Betamax, so it's kind of like Blu-ray versus HD DVD.
Did you have a Betamax?
We had both.
Of course you did.
Yeah. So the Betamax, you could record. So we would rent the movie with VHS, and then we would tape it onto the Betamax, and then return the movie, and then we had the movie forever.
Somebody needs to do a study on PC guys versus Mac. No, I'm serious. PC guys versus Mac guys. And then whether or not they had a VHS or a Betamax, whether they had Atari or Intellivision.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was my parents, but I'm sure I got it.
It would
from
be
my
a
parents,
really interesting sort of... But like what you were talking about, your first computer was the one on...
the Radio Shack.
I had the Commodore 64.
Yeah, which is kind of the Mac version.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So anyway, go ahead. This is where you were. You're in Louisiana. Your parents are having key parties and swapping.
Yeah, and so that's how I got all my movies. So we had 2 giant drawers full of double stacked VHS movies that they would rent, record, and so I would watch these movies. And Raiders of the Lost Ark was one of those movies. And to me, this movie was magical. Do you agree, Mark? For you, when you were a kid?
Absolutely. That was that whole era, though.
Yeah.
That era, Jaws, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, all that stuff was so important. And, I was 11 years old when this movie came out. Very first scene, the way they went to, what was it, the Paramount Mountain? Mm-hmm. And it went right into the mountain.
Yeah.
That was, right off
they
the
do
bat.
that in all 4 movies, by the way.
Right. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And then the whole introduction, you know, him going through and then turning around, you first see him, and I think
Well,
everything
we talked about the Goonies.
We did.
Where they had these little traps and trying to get through the obstacles and stuff. These were like real obstacles. The darts, and it felt like there was more on the line. Whereas that just felt like a cartoon.
Not when you're 11 or 12 years old,
I know,
though.
but that's when we watched Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Exactly.
And this was just like...
No, but
and this was before Goonies came out.
It happens a few years later, though. Okay, so but I do get that. I do get it. To your original question on podcast 2, is this movie an epic?
No. It's adventure.
Is it an epic adventure?
No, it's not. Because I don't think it enough time spans. Like
No?
with like Braveheart, for example, or a good one is Dances with Wolves. There was a lot of time that passed. You know, they went over many, many, many years. This is just a year, maybe.
It is quite a journey, though.
It's a good journey, but he's the same age the whole time, basically.
I find it interesting, whatever my exposure to this franchise is, I didn't really put it together that it was so early on in time, like that this was in the 30s, right? 39, I believe.
It was before World War II,
Yeah.
which was 41, so it had to have been
So, and then there's
30s.
Nazis involved, and there's all of that. So, I don't really, being 11, 12 years old, just me at that age, I just know I wouldn't have been able to put all that together anyway.
I mean, I understood Nazis at that point, but it was more just the adventure. It was more just by the skin of his teeth. I thought he really captured, Lucas and then Spielberg directing, really captured that serial. I don't know if you ever watched some of the clips from shows that inspired George Lucas, but it was always those sort of right before a movie, they would show a serial in the old days.
Right.
It would be like, this guy would be fighting or doing a car chase, and then the car would drive off the cliff, and you'd go, oh, the guy died. And then you'd watch the next movie, and they'd have the next episode of that, sort of how TV kind of came about. And then this time they'd show the car going off, but they'd show him hanging on the cliff.
Right.
And it was based on those kind of episodic serials.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, tune in next week. And I just thought he captured that. It was adventure. It was like on the edge of your seat adventure.
Yeah, I get that. Again, as I sat and watched, or stood and watched, and sort of walked around the room and did other things while I was watching this movie.
Oh, God.
And I did see Jack come in from jumping on the trampoline, which he just got 2 days ago.
Your son.
My son, Jack, mini-me. He didn't even have to ask what it was. He literally just sat on the couch and was just completely reeled in. Like, you literally just...
That was me as a kid, too, and then I've watched it 70 times since then.
Right, which is great.
Harrison Ford is the highest grossing actor of the 80s.
Yeah, I think...
By a landslide.
Yeah, I think I knew that.
Empire, all 3 Indiana Jones, and then Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And that just takes him, like, no one's even...
In the late 80s, he's doing all the stuff where he gets mad in airplanes all the time and shit, and just,
That's 90s, though, isn't it?
I don't know. I mean, it
Force
just
One?
seems like he's always pissed on an airplane. He just fucking Harrison Ford. Just like, it's how did his acting career go? He fucking spent a lot of time mad in airplanes.
Do you think he intentionally crashed his airplane on that golf course because he was just pissed?
He was just mad. No, he was just pissed off. He fucking had a bad round of golf that day. It's like, that's what happens with $20 million actors.
Stock opening scene.
Poison is still fresh, 3 days. They're following us. If they knew we were here, they would have killed us already.
And they don't show his face 3 or 4 minutes in, just like the Back to the Future thing.
Because they didn't know who was going to play him. They were already shooting it. And, who knows?
There was a lot of people that were going to play him until 3 weeks before shooting.
It's true. And Tom Selleck was in the running. Magnum PI, for
Yep.
Christ's sake. Gosh, wouldn't that have been weird? Man, isn't it funny how that stuff happens like that? It's like Tom Selleck was arguably the biggest star of that decade on television. And he could never break into the movies. Isn't that weird how that happens?
It is kind of weird. I mean, I love him.
And again...
he had that one badass, the Western.
Wrigley Down Under?
That was
But
actually...
I don't think it was a
And he did
success.
3 Men and a Baby, which was big.
Yeah, that was
a
pretty
big
big.
But he just never really did break into he was never just a bona fide movie star.
3 Men and a Baby, the one with like the ghost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, freaked me the F out. Have you seen that?
Oh, there's some footage
There's
of
a
the
scene,
thing.
they're in their
where-
apartment, they're painting a cross, and then you see a boy standing behind. Go rent it now if you've never seen this.
Or YouTube it, let's be honest.
Oh,
guys.
that's right. I forgot.
It's
there's
just a
YouTube.
fucking...
There's
It's
only
just...
one rental place
We
ever
heard
next
about
to
it.
Dad's
We
house.
heard about it back in college, and we're like, no way. And everybody's like, yeah. So we went and rented it, watched the whole movie, and then finally got to that scene, and then we saw the kid standing there. I jumped out of my seat, up onto the back of the couch. My hairs were on end. It was the freakiest thing ever.
That was actually a cardboard cutout of TedDanson that was left on set.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Because it was a
Yes.
stand-in that they had.
Well, no, it was actually a cardboard cutout of him from
Like
like
half?
another. No, it was a full. It was like a life size.
It was a kid size, but it might have been cut in half. It was
literally.
Was he
Well,
a
it was
small
probably.
man?
It didn't have to be like life size, but it was actually a cardboard cutout of Ted Danson.
Someone left it
That
there?
was left on the set, and they thought nobody'd ever notice it.
Those motherfuckers.
So now go back and stop it, and you're going to see Ted Danson's
Big giant hair.
That?
Yes,
That he doesn't have anymore.
that-
he doesn't
Right.
have anymore.
All right, well, let's get back to the opening scene.
All right.
Stop. Stay out of the light.
I mean, this didn't like captivate you, the going in and the traps and the gate sliding open.
It did
with
to a certain extent, but I think what's happening and I think maybe that's going to add an interesting
You're
dynamic.
basically picking Goonies. You're going, nope, I like Goonies better.
No, that's not sort of.
I like Goonies better.
But that's not what I'm saying, though. But I mean, I think that's a fair assessment of where you're going to take what I'm going to say is. But I do feel like now I'm starting to watch certain movies on the defensive because I'm just like, well, he's saying that fucking Goonies was the fucking little kids version of this movie.
Well,
so
this
Wait
came
a minute.
first.
Wait a minute. Is the Asian kid in Goonies the same Asian kid
in
Temple of Doom?
he
Yes.
is.
You
What
call
makes
him
it-
Dr. Jones. You call him Dr. Jones.
See, and he's the booty twaps.
That's
See,
why.
I told you. No, it's not. It's not just because of data. I don't have a problem. I like,
I didn't like it.
and I'll bring this full circle right now.
Please.
And I'll be completely honest with you. You said that you had watched Goonies with your daughter and watching it through her eyes and seeing her captivated by it all
Right.
and seeing her enjoy the movie made you enjoy it more that time than when you watched for the podcast. I think if I sat down with my boys and watched this movie with them on an afternoon when it's rainy outside or whatever, and they're literally sitting there and they're both in my arms and we're watching this movie, I would 100% think differently about it than I probably do right now where I just sort of had to watch it because you're being a dick.
This is like ranked one of the top movies of all time.
No, and it's an amazingly high grossing movie. And I do remember it being the biggest thing talked about that year. And I guess it's just at that point, fuck, I'm 9 years old. I guess I just couldn't get to the theater, Rich. I mean, I didn't fucking
Or
live
watch it any other time in your
in my
40
40 years of existence.
He wasn't popular in Kansas then.
That's true.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it was just magical.
So what was it about the opening scene though that really brings you in? And
Dude, they made a freaking theme park out of that scene, right? The ball rolling down.
Yes, yeah.
There was the whole Disney theme park ride around that.
Yeah, they also could have called it the Goonies and nobody would know the difference.
Oh my god! I mean, when he goes in, he gets the idol and he turns around, and then that shit starts lowering, and you're going, oh fuck! And everything starts falling apart. He runs, and the guy jumps over the pit. The whip falls off, and he's like,
No time to argue. Throw me the idol. I throw you the whip. Give me the whip. Adios, senor.
oh, that's right. And he fucking
leaves him there. and
leaves
gets,
him
like,
there.
He
Doesn't-
jumps over and he like grabs onto the weed that's
Doesn't-
hanging out, and he's like, "Okay, I'm cool. I got the weed."
I do like
And
the
then-
whip. I think the whip,
The whip
is
is
cool.
awesome.
It is cool. Now, wasn't there a really popular video game, not Pitfall, but sort of like in that same vein of things that was based on this movie? Or
Pitfall's the only thing I can think of. He finally gets through. The ball is chasing him. The ball.
yeah, the ball,
The ball is awesome.
and it's great. Yeah, and it's
It
on.
was cool to see the ball. I haven't seen it.
It's
ever,
on all the
so-
previews and all that stuff.
It's a boulder.
It's
Well,
a boulder.
actually, it's a fiberglass ball,
Yeah,
but
it's definitely a ball.
Super weird to hear you arguing with your dad about balls, Case. I'm going to be just completely honest.
It happens sometimes. One time I sent him a picture of yours.
I don't even want to
Remember
hear
that,
the
Dad?
story.
It was one of the first conversations we had before I met you.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
oh
think
my
I did it
god,
from your
honey.
phone.
yeah.
Not the guy with bowling pursuit. He's probably got saggy balls. He's old.
And you send him a picture of my balls?
Yeah.
Yeah, Casey, does your dad think that you're the best at kissing?
Oh, that line just haunted me my whole life.
You are right, though. Pitfall does come up in the search for Indiana Jones video games, but I do feel like that there was another one. But
E.T. with the Reese's Pieces.
no, I just
that
feel
was
like
horrible.
I just feel
That
like
was the
they're used.
Worst game ever.
There
yeah.
just used to be
Did
a.
anybody ever figure out what you were supposed to do?
No, I had it though, and I played it for hours.
I did
and hours,
too. Going,
but-
okay, it's gonna get good any minute.
No, it never.
Never
got good.
does.
E.T.
no.
and Reese.
There was no. You know what? There was a Raiders of the Lost Ark Atari game. I had it because there was I remember the snakes in the Well of Souls part.
Right, and I feel like you could swing across shit with a
Oh,
whip.
I'm sure you
I
could.
don't think you're thinking.
I probably
That's
am.
Pitfall for sure. Swinging across
That was
pits.
nothing but swing.
That's all it was pits and swinging.
Now we're back to your parents' house.
Parents, exactly.
Again, we see there is nothing you can possess which I cannot take away.
And this guy's the perfect nemesis. I mean, he's like perfect.
Now, the one thing that I took away from this that I can't say one thing, but stuck in my head that I 100% do remember, and the guy burns his hand on the coin, and then when he showed the burn, I for sure absolutely remember that.
No, that was the guy burning his hand on the stones
Oh,
on the Temple of Doom.
there's just so much hand burning.
There's a lot of hand burning.
There's a big snake in the plane, Doc! Oh, that's just my pet snake, Reggie! I hate snakes, Doc! I hate them! Come on, show a little backbone, will ya?
Have we defined what trope is? You know what a trope is?
No, but it sounds like a word you would use in
No,
an
this is
email, and I would tell you not to use it anymore.
A trope is a common thing that filmmakers do for a plot device. So, like, okay, here's this trope: is when you're running away from someone and they show them super close, you know, so that it builds the intensity of the scene. But then when they need to do something, now they're far away. When he's running away from the tribesmen, for 2 seconds, they're like right behind him. And then a minute later, they're like way up the hill, and he has plenty of time to jump in the water and swim to the plane. You know,
Okay,
that's a trope. It's like they do that kind of stuff all the time, where they're real close, and you're like, oh my God, he's going to get him. And then right when he needs a lot more time to do something to get away, then all of a sudden they're really far away.
That makes sense.
That's a trope.
I thought you were referring to the snake, because that just establishing plot is what I thought you were talking about.
That was obviously foreshadowing.
Sure. And foreshadowing to a Samuel L. Jackson movie where he didn't want any snakes on the motherfucking plane later on in life. Again, Samuel L. Jackson also got pissed off on airplanes and made a lot of money.
So, also, apparently girls think Harrison Ford is hot.
You know what?
They do.
I'm going to be honest. He showed up. He was the professor. He was young. I really, really tried to think he was hot, and I still don't think he's hot.
Oh, really?
They dumbed it down, though. I mean, like, later in the movie, I thought when he was adventurous with the hat on and all that he was more attractive.
No, I wasn't looking for... No, I figured, like, the professor one would be better than the scruffy guy one, but...
I've talked about this before, though, the perception that you have when you're a certain age. Because I remember when I watched... And you
So
guys...
you didn't think he was hot when you were 9?
No, I'm saying... I was actually going to go into a different movie. Like, say on Star Wars, to me... He was the coolest motherfucker that ever lived.
Yeah,
absolutely. If ever now, when I go back and watch Star Wars now, he just seems like the old guy with the Wookiee. You know what I mean? I mean, he's old. Even at that time, he's old. He seems old to me.
No.
You
Well,
know?
I watched this with Jackie, and she said her exact quote was, "He is so cute."
Cute's a better word than hot.
in the teacher scene.
Where the girl wrote like "love you"
Yeah,
or
with
something
love
on
you
her,
on her
eyelids.
eyelids,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I did notice in this, and I wondered, and I didn't want to do another one of those things where I give someone credit that isn't due that credit. Listed as second director of this movie is MichaelMoore, the MichaelMoore, but he is credited as second director.
Didn't even
I'll cut
need
it
to
out
be
so
put
you don't
out
tell.
there.
No, don't cut it out. I like it.
Leave it in there.
I like it. I like all this.
It's fine.
Let's talk about just the plot of the movie. I mean, I just think it's interesting that here the government hires Indiana Jones.
We've got some information here, but we can't make anything out of it, and maybe you can. Tanis Development Proceeding. Acquire headpiece, staff of Ra, Abner Ravenwood, U.S.
Nazis have discovered Tanis.
Just what does that mean to you, Tanis?
Well,
The city of Tanis is one of the possible resting places of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, so I mean, essentially, what he's trying to say is that Adolf Hitler believes that this Ark of the Covenant can make his army invincible,
Right. He's like,
and Indiana Jones has to go find it first.
right.
I do love one line, and I think it might be here. So apparently, you know, the stones, the actual stones that Moses wrote the 10 Commandments on, they're all broken up, if you believe that kind of thing, and they put them in the ark or whatever. It's just such a funny little stick there.
As much as that sort of dismissing religion entirely, I mean, obviously the ending proves in the movie that, hello, there is a God. So it's kind of funny that he does that. He's like, no, I don't believe in God. No, I don't believe in God.
If you believe that kind of thing.
Ironically, in The Last Crusade, he's calling his dad, you know, oh yeah, he's back again to being...
Oh, yeah,
You
how
remember
does that work?
It was like, you saw the freaking Ark of the Covenant.
Does he really do that?
Yeah, he does. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Dad, you know,
How do you go from
he
that to
buys
that?
and yeah, how can you see all this stuff with the Ark of the Covenant and go, oh yeah, that's not real.
I feel like that's some shit Rich would pull.
It does.
Yeah.
God damn it, you both.
Maybe he drank a bunch, you know? I mean,
He hit
or
his head a bunch.
I don't. They do swear a lot in this movie.
No, I'm sorry. Goonies swears like kids say shit like
It's
12 or
little kids
13
swearing,
times.
that's funny.
Yeah, little
Oh,
kids swearing is
okay.
funny. Haven't you seen Six Pack with Kenny Rogers? It's
I
freaking
just told you a
little
story
kids.
about Jack talking about nipples.
Well, that
at the
movie
grocery
was rated
store.
R,
That's
right?
hilarious.
Dude, towards the climactic scenes, I mean, he throws in a goddamn, and there's he says shit a bunch.
But
and-
no, I don't even think it's nearly as bad as Goonies as far as number of times.
well, I don't. I just think
There's more killing.
the Goonies
But that's
use their swear words way better than Indiana Jones.
I'm not
I
gonna
just think-
disagree, but the Goonies was supposed to be for kids, and they're like dropping S-bombs left and right.
Because that's how
that
kids
age
talk.
We're doing that.
I know, but if you're watching
we
it
have
with
a
your
kid that
parents,
age, and he's doing that for sure.
yeah.
I don't
All right.
feel like we have to compare the two movies anymore, Rich.
Okay.
Let's just don't. Let's focus on this movie. This movie is important to you, and I want it to.
It really is.
And
I watched it 3 times again,
Uh-huh.
as I usually do.
Right.
The first time I watched it by myself, and it was magical because I actually hadn't seen it in a while, and I was like, "Oh my god, every scene is amazing! Every scene is amazing! Every one of them."
Do you get into like the cinematography and all of that
This
too?
was
like,
Spielberg at his best.
but and he did do it the same where he built little miniature replicas of, and similar to how they did the Star Wars thing.
well, that was Lucas, but right.
God damn it, I'm fucking trying here, Rich. Jesus Christ. But he did they did build little replicas and with look like little army men out in these huge massive desert scenes and stuff. And they built these huge models and they blocked it all with models,
Right.
so that way they could show everyone, okay, here's where everybody's going to stand based
Right.
upon this. Impressive though that they shot this movie in 3 months. That's crazy.
And this is a big movie.
Because there's movies now that 6-8 months. That's why breaks apart families. I've heard about this Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
All
They
right.
that just fucking tore the whole goddamn Hollywood scene apart, Rich.
Home wrecking whore.
Let's speaking of horrors, let's get into Marion.
Indiana Jones. Always knew someday you'd come walking back through my door.
She's a very nondescript person.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
feel
probably
like
why I don't.
I think that's
remember
good
her.
though. I think that's why
Not
she's
for
a
this
good
movie.
actress.
Deborah Winger was an alt for this.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they're both the same girl to me, and I don't like either of them.
No?
I don't know. Yeah, and she kind of fits my mold where I like long brown hair, like freckles and stuff, but I don't know, it just didn't do it for me.
And Deborah Winger, the same. You don't have a.
Oh, I can't stand Deborah Winger.
Why? What
She's
is it
like
about-
the worst.
What
It's
is-
mostly her voice.
Oh, I see.
And they don't have boobs because I'm a boob.
Deborah
man.
Winger has little bitty boobies, and she'll show them too. She doesn't
Yeah,
give
I
a
don't
shit.
want to see them. Here's some bad acting.
I learned to hate you in the last 10 years.
I never meant to hurt you.
I was a child. I was in love. It was wrong and you knew it.
You knew what you were doing.
Now I do. This is my place. Get out.
It's like stage
Yeah,
acting.
that
You know what I mean?
is
It's
really.
like 1940s.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
let's
melodramatic.
100%. That's like
It's
fucking
Gone with the Wind.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Horrible.
Really just
Really bad.
bad theater to the fucking
It
camera.
was set in the 30s.
Shit, just like,
Maybe it was just
frankly,
all-
Scarlett, I don't give a damn. Let's listen to that again and just bask in the terribleness of it.
I learned to hate you in the last 10 years.
I never meant to hurt you.
I was a child. I was in love. It was wrong and you knew it.
You knew what you were doing.
Now I do. This is my place. Get out.
This is my place, see?
See? Yeah,
You'll get on out of here. You'll get on out of here, I'll tell you. I'll have the whole town chasing you down after this, Don't you see? Don't you see? If you don't get out of here right now, the whole town's gonna burn you at the stake. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Totally.
It's like every fucking movie that
terrible.
happened back then, man.
It's
And he's
terrible.
playing along with it. You knew what you were doing.
You knew
what you were doing,
gonna
Lassie.
get to.
Lassie, you listen to me. You know what you were doing. The whole town's coming out, don't you know? They're all coming out of the doors. All the windows are open. They're all throwing things into the streets. Just coming down here to burn you at the stake. Yeah, well, they'll never catch me. Don't you know that? I've had an escape plan the whole time, don't you know? I've got a whip.
Jared, don't talk like that. You reached under my dress and I had a penis and you liked it.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I didn't know that you had. We're starting to sound like the Canadians on South Park. It's just like, we want some of that internet money now. We know you got the internet money. No, we don't want your Chili's coupons. Oh my goodness. You are so dead on though on that. That's such a good, because I thought the same thing on that scene. I didn't really understand.
Why?
Yeah,
Well,
it was
connecting.
abrupt too. They didn't like give you a lot of information.
It's just all of a sudden she's closing the bar, and then all of a sudden I was just a child,
And then
What
there's
the
no-
fuck
and wait,
just
wait,
happened?
wait, and then there's not.
This is good acting.
Good evening, Fräulein.
The bar's closed.
We are not thirsty.
What do you want?
The same thing your friend Dr. Jones wanted. Surely he told you there would be other interested parties.
Must have slipped his mind.
I fucking love that guy.
Dude, I like when. Yeah, it's fucking funny. It's funny when people try to do that sort of European accent,
Right.
And it just sounds like Dracula choking. You know what I mean? Like it's just like Jesus Christ, Dracula is gagging right now. You know, well, we want exactly what you want. You know, I gagged myself for real.
I saw that. I wasn't gonna say anything because I thought I was the one that noticed.
I totally gagged myself for real on that. I just, oh shit.
He's gagging himself.
That's not good. So let's talk about the whiskey in the bar.
Whiskey doesn't burn like that, by the way.
It doesn't. I did have to tell you this, though. This is a true story. We played this show for MarkCuban once, and beer and everything was supposed to be free from 5 to 7, but the show didn't start till 8.
Who's
and then
Mark Cuban?
You fuck.
Just kidding.
After the allotted time, he's just like, fuck it, bar's open for this night. That night, that motherfucker poured Everclear all over the bar of this bar in Austin and just set the whole fucking thing on fire. MarkCuban. And
What?
And everybody was laughing and having a good old time.
There's a lawsuit still going on about that you've just fucked him over.
No,
It
it's
was
okay.
Just simply on
No,
his
it was
own
fine.
code.
I peed all over the bar and everything was fine. So let's talk about that. So what is it that you say? Like, is there a pattern to the way that it's burning? So they're both there looking for this medallion. See, this is the thing that I swear I remember, but I don't remember seeing this
There's
movie.
almost the exact scene with the priest grabs the stone that falls out of somewhere,
Yeah.
and it burns him because
But
the
does it
stone
have
doesn't
like
want to be in
the
his
whole
hand.
image on his hand and
No,
all
it
that
doesn't do the
stuff?
image
I
on
don't
his hand.
know.
All right,
get
but
it.
here's another problem. Why would
Yeah.
he grab the medallion and then hold it there for like a good 20 seconds?
Right.
That's just ridiculous.
That is one of-
Whoever has done that ever.
That is one of the things, though, where like theatrics kick in.
Right.
Like your hand would not allow you to do that.
Why couldn't they
It
figure
could
out
have
a
if
way?
you like fused to it. Or
It
something
could if you
gross.
grabbed
No,
hold of
You
it.
but-
go
I
into
mean,
shock or.
It was very staged.
It's
and set
the
up.
worst.
Yeah, it was
Like,
bad.
scene.
Are you
And
telling me
then-
that part of this movie was staged?
Oh, stop it. And then he grabs it. They could have thought of many other things where like he got pushed down and his hand landed
Sure.
on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or something, but it was so staged, and I think I remember having a problem with that scene way back.
That his hand would have instantly just let go
no
of it.
one ever grabs something hot and then just holds it there and screams about it.
Unless it's so
No
hot
one
it
ever
sticks
does.
to
Yeah,
your
it can
skin.
stick to your skin.
But
though.
I mean, if
You go into
if he'd flung his hand out and it stayed on there, okay.
Right.
But it didn't. I mean,
I think what they're
he held
saying
it
is
gripped.
that he grabbed it, and when he did,
It's
his
just not what
fingers
that
are
looks
around
like.
it. Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
I get it. I don't
Fall on it. Fall on it.
and
Something
especially
heavy
the
falls on
way
you,
that
can't
it
move.
burned this, like it essentially branded him.
Yeah, and this was a big thing that they needed to have done for the plot, obviously. The Nazis needed to have a way of creating their own amulet that didn't have the back on it. So they needed this done, but it was just so forced. It was like, oh, we need this done. Let's just have him grab it and then hold it, and for some stupid reason. But I just thought they could have done that better.
I think one thing about this, again, that I obviously didn't pick up on any of these that I saw. I mean, there's a lot going on plot-wise, too, that you couldn't have understood as a kid. I mean, there's no way that you understood this
No.
whole, like...
So as a kid, this was just adventure. This
Sure.
was just action
But
and
the
adventure
story is actually,
constantly.
I will say, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, it
Yeah.
has to do with Hitler trying to make his army invincible, and that's pretty big.
So they get to Egypt and they run into basically Gimli from Lord of the Rings, which you've never seen before.
I've never
so you don't
seen
even know
Lord
who
of-
the fuck I'm talking.
No, I don't
The
know.
Germans have a great advantage over us. They are near to discovering the Well of Souls.
Well, they're not going to find it without this.
You don't know who Gimli is.
I don't know who Gimli is.
Killing me.
Now, I would like to see Lord of the Rings. I mean, I remember when
Well,
that...
we'll make that happen.
The Ark. If it is there, Tanis, then it is something that man was not meant to disturb. Death has always surrounded
So
it.
they had that Egyptian Keystone Cops chase. I remember as a kid loving that. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I look at it now and go, boy, this is very Keystone Cops. But he's got a hell of an overhand right, though. Am I right?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's his favorite move. The kick, the inside leg kick in the overhand right. He
probably the
loves
one they
that. But this
taught him.
sets up one of the best scenes of the entire movie. The scene I'm talking about is when he heads into the middle of this big crowd. The crowd splits.
Yeah.
And this sword guy comes out and he's flinging up swords going, holy crap, look
Yeah.
how badass I am.
Exactly.
And he's in trouble.
Yeah.
And then he just pulls out his gun and shoots.
Just shoots the guy.
the
Exactly.
and
Now
walks
that's
off. Yes,
amazing.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. There's so much of that kind of stuff.
Harrison Ford was sick. He was supposed to do the whip. He was supposed to take his whip
And the nay-nay?
and grab the swords out of his hand.
Really?
And he was like, he just didn't feel good, and so he was like, he just improv'd and took the gun out.
Just
and
took
shot.
the gun out and shot him.
And that was like one
turned
of the
around
best
and
scenes
got,
in the
yeah,
movie.
I mean, and just what a good establishment of that character's whole persona too. You know, just like
Definitely.
fuck it. You know, see you later.
Indiana Jones and the nay-nay.
Yeah, the whip and the nay-nay.
Oh my God.
Belloc.
Good afternoon, Dr. Jones.
I ought to kill you right now.
Got a very private place for a
I
murder?
just love the interactions with those
I
two.
do too, but now that you've pointed out like the over theatrical
Yeah.
aspect of this, he's doing it too.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, he's
good at it.
he is like
Marion's terrible at
I had to kill you right now. Yes, I should. But yeah, I agree. I think their interactions together are cool. I mean, much like when he talks to, what is it, Greedo? Who's the green guy in Star Wars? Guido? Guido the killer pimp?
Yeah.
The Italian alien Guido.
Who is the guy that I'm trying to think about?
Greedo.
Greedo. I had it right. Well, why'd you look at me like that?
Because you're unsure that you had it right.
That's okay. I'm
It's
fucking
not
doing
okay.
my best over
It's
here,
not
man.
okay.
I'm
You
trying to
should know
tie
this
in
shit.
references. No, I don't.
mean, if you're from like some other country, like Tunisia or something.
sorry,
No,
Dad.
the Tunisia, you should know also. I don't.
I knew a girl named Tunisia in high school, and her parents wouldn't let her date me.
Yeah. I'll tell you that.
Come, look here. Look, sit down. Come, sit down.
What is it?
Come. That guy that's all come.
You know who that guy is? That is every dude on a vacation in the Caribbean that you hire to take you anywhere you want to go.
Come.
Doesn't matter. You could go scuba diving, horseback riding, river rafting. You could go up into the internal aspects of the whole fucking island, all the vegetation, and pick the fruit. And that guy fucking knows everything, and it's always that same dude.
This is a warning not to disturb the Ark of the Covenant.
What about the height of the staff, though? Did Belloc get it off of here?
Yes, it is here. This was the old way. This means 6 kadam high.
About 72 inches.
Wait. And take back 1 kadam to honor the Hebrew god whose ark this is.
That's God, by the way.
You said their headpiece only had markings on one side. You absolutely sure?
Belloc's staff is too long. They're digging in the wrong place.
Because God wants this movie to be over. That's the thing. At every fucking turn, he's just like, you know what, man? Let's just end this now and send everybody back home. And they won't fucking give up. This movie could have ended 7 fucking times. That's fucking true. You have to admit.
This is the perfect movie for you to sit there every 5 seconds and go, why? Because of God.
Because of God. Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, I fucking have noticed that I use that a lot more than I thought I did.
Well, now
I use it a lot. and I knew I used it a lot before, but now it's right there.
All
I
right.
think I had to get him a beer because of God the other day.
She just goes, I go, babe, will you get me a beer? Oh, good Lord. Like, why can't you get up and get your own beer? Because of God.
I break up.
You can't break up, babe.
Asps. Very dangerous. You go first.
You go first. That whole drop him in the pit of snakes. And
Yeah.
they've already established that he hates snakes.
Right.
And it's perfect because it's just laden with snakes. By the way, those were legless lizards. Did you even
is that
know
true?
that was a thing?
I didn't know.
Has anyone ever heard of a legless lizard?
I've never seen a legless lizard, but I've seen a lizard with very small legs.
lizard.
But seriously, why
Yeah.
is there a legless lizard? Why don't they just call it a snake?
My wife came out of that.
Oh my god! Oh god! Stop!
Oh, God.
Stop! But seriously, that's a great plot device. Drop them in the snakes, and they have to find a way out. Now
Yeah,
they're surrounded
right.
by snakes.
Sure, and why not put him in, the area where you again, from the very first part of the movie where you realize he's not scared of anything.
Right.
There's a rolling boulder coming after him,
Yeah.
and he's gonna figure it out. And he's terrified again of these motherfucking snakes on the plane, and now he's in a fucking pit of snakes.
I'm sorry, it's motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
I'm sorry, I left
Yeah.
out of motherfucking.
Yeah, you
I
did.
totally fucked that up.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry, Samuel L.
I
Jackson.
haven't seen that movie either, by the way.
I've never have either. I do think what would be fun during this podcast thing is if we both watch a movie that we've never seen. By the way, we'll take suggestions of movies that we might not have ever seen. You can
figure it out.
Yeah, you can hit us on Facebook, Jaret Goes to the Movies, or Jaret Movies on Twitter, and just send us suggestions of movies that we may not have seen.
I'm just going to go ahead and add that Rich has seen everything, and Jaret hasn't seen anything.
It's so awesome. I got my name on the show, and I've never seen any movies.
That's why you're going to the movies. I already went to
the movies. Rich went to the movies.
Yeah.
When he was popular in Kansas.
No, he didn't. That's when he took a break from the movies.
Yeah,
we established that.
I did see Silver Bullet and Man One Red Shoe.
Meet me at Omar's. Be ready for me. I'm going after that truck. Oh. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
So did you like the chase scene at least?
I did. Let me back up. I liked the movie.
Wait.
Ish. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just so built up to me now. I thought it was going to be fucking Star Wars. Like, and you...
This is 1981.
You talk so much shit about Goonies, though, man. And this was supposed to blow it away.
But the production of this movie, the acting of this movie,
you're the
movie.
You're the one that brought up the terrible acting in this movie, see?
There are parts where it's bad, but I mean... Fuck, I mean, it blows away Goonies acting. Oh,
dude, those are children, and they're killing it.
But you're making excuses because they're children. That's fine, but it doesn't change the fact that it is super bad acting.
I don't really know that this movie is that well acted.
Yeah, sure it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
If Harrison Ford, if we were on a panel, you would say, is Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, is that your...
I mean, first of all, everything's in the 80s.
Is that your finest acting?
You have to see it from an 80s point of view.
Sure.
Everything in the 80s was kind of bad. But then Goonies is like way down below that. Just because they're kids.
We don't have to keep comparing the two movies.
Well, you brought it up.
No, but I'm just saying this. I get it that this was iconic. And had I seen this movie when I was 9 years old when it came out, maybe I would think differently than I do. I don't know. I just don't have a tie to it. So
yeah. I think that's
when you watch it, you have a different analysis of it even now because you're seeing the bigger picture of the story. You're seeing how grandiose the filming is and just all of this shit. And you're recognizing when it happened and all of that stuff. And I don't have that perspective because I really don't fucking care.
I watched it 3 times. The first time I watched it, I just sat down and watched it. I just enjoy it. I don't try to analyze it or anything. I don't try to look for things. I just watched the movie. The second time I watched it with someone else, and I tried to see it through her eyes, and she hadn't seen it since she was 10 years old or whatever. She really enjoyed it. She remembered it being better than it was.
Yeah.
Which, okay.
And if you don't mind, how old is she, if you don't mind?
It's Jackie. She's 40.
Okay.
But she thought it was good, but not as good as she remembered it being. And then the third time I watched it, that's when I pick it apart. That's when I really go, okay, let me be critical about this movie so that I can really break it down and compare it to other movies for this podcast. And that's where I go, bad acting, I get the clips and take my notes and everything.
The hard part about this one for me was that like I've done all the other ones, I was just gonna, watch it once and just be ready to go. Like, hey, this reminds me of all the shit that I know. And I'm just like, fuck, I don't remember anything. And so now I'm here talking about a movie almost as if I'm a reviewer, which I don't want to be. So all I can say is just the stuff that really on the surface that I noticed, the stuff that I thought was cool, sort of the reasons why it's so big in your head, and then obviously the fact that I'll never fucking watch this movie ever again.
That just saddens me.
Don't be sad though. I mean,
you were sad for me last week though.
It's not like a parent died. It's just like a parent's favorite movie died.
It's such a
man, I gave it my all. I tried, and I'm talking about it. I mean, like I fucking went to it, but at the same time, it's like, Jesus Christ, how the fuck did you watch this movie 70 times? I don't get it. Like it's just like
I think you'd like The Last Crusade a lot better.
Is that the one with Sean Connery?
Sean Connery.
Okay, no, I haven't seen that one. I know I've seen the second one.
That's my favorite. The third one is my favorite. So after he saves Marion from the tent and everything, they get and they have the big fight with the big guy at the airplane.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the sound effects. Right? Where they're fucking doing
they're punching. Yeah. That's a baseball bat on a leather jacket.
Yeah. No, but the thing I love about that scene, so he fights this other guy and he wins the fight. But I mean, it wasn't easy.
Right.
And then this just huge fucking guy, is just laughing and walking down towards it, takes his shirt off.
He's like, finally, I get to fight somebody.
And I wonder if you notice this too, because this is in the 30s. Do you notice the fighting stance that they take? They take fucking 30 style,
Irishman.
like that fists like sort of turned against your own face,
Right.
one lower than the other,
That's
and just
funny.
ready to go. Just
That's attention to detail right there.
Yeah, that's right. I'm fucking good at this goddamn podcast, Rich. I'm fucking trying my best to make your movie good.
So they get on this ship and he's hurt.
Wow. Well, goddamn it, anywhere doesn't it hurt?
Here.
See, I used this to my benefit.
Did you do this?
I did. No, as it was going, I was just like, she got up to go do something. I was just like, hey, can I have a kiss right here or here? You know, but I thought that was good. I totally thought it was going to keep going, though.
I'm sitting right.
I know, but it was a sweet moment. I was being
It's
super.
her dad.
I'm sitting right fucking here, Jaret.
I was being sweet to your daughter, not like Indiana Jones was about to do, because when she woke up, she
At
was
least he
naked.
pointed his face.
And then they take over the whole ship. They take Marion on the submarine. They go to this island because they need to unveil
See,
the
this
ark.
again is where I start to feel, God, we could end this movie. Like, you know, it's like we've had all these climactic scenes.
Yeah, I got away on the submarine thing. So he jumps off the ship.
Yes.
And he swims underwater to the submarine, and the pirates go, "Oh, we've searched the ship. He's nowhere."
Right. There we
We
go.
found him. Where? There. And he's climbing on the side of the submarine, and he's on top of the submarine.
Yeah.
And the submarine is starting to go off and go down.
But they don't show it go down. I don't think it ever actually went down. But yeah, I was the same way. It was like, I assumed it went down. Why wouldn't it not go down?
Right.
You don't have a submarine and not go
How did
down.
he end up in? Okay, well, obviously I did a little research on this. So they cut a scene where he was supposed to hang on to the periscope. The entire trip.
Are you serious?
I swear to God.
Oh
and
my
Spielberg
God.
goes, "Oh my God, this is so cheesy. We have to cut it out." And just hope
Glad
nobody
they got
questions
rid of
it.
that.
Right.
Hope
Nobody questions how he
questions
gets
it.
in.
So they show
Exactly,
it.
or how he gets to the destination.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know,
And
he's
who
gonna
leads
hang
the
on to a.
periscope?
They had him actually holding onto the periscope
Oh
for
my God.
a 1,000-mile trip.
Probably. It was a long time. Yeah.
And if you think about it, when he's in the little way station, he's all wet. He's
Yeah.
you know, he's just
I
there.
assumed that when they got there, he jumped off and swam the rest of the way, so they wouldn't see him on top. And they're all pulling into the station, and he's all waving to everybody at the top. I mean, he would have jumped off, swam in, and built a little covert.
I think we all went, okay, how did he do that? Oh, we're not going to worry about it. He's
Yeah,
Indiana
let's
Jones.
just not worry about it.
He's
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
No,
That-
it definitely bothered
that's
me.
a true story.
But when he got
Hanging
there,
on to the periscope.
That
But when he
is
got
good
there,
knowledge, though.
punched out the guy, and the coat didn't fit.
Right.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, me
because
too.
that always is way too convenient
Yep.
that the clothes fit
I
perfectly.
loved that too.
Yeah, that was a great.
I really liked that. That was a good taste move.
And then he's gonna blow up the ark.
Jones? Jones! I'm gonna blow up the ark, Renee.
But he doesn't blow up.
He doesn't blow up. You can't blow up the ark.
And
no.
here's why.
Indiana, we are simply passing through history. This is history.
I like that line.
I do too. I actually think that's pretty poignant for
Yeah.
just life.
So then they open the ark, and Close Encounters comes out.
Shut your eyes, Mary, and don't look at it no matter what happens.
Another movie I haven't seen.
You've never seen Close? Oh
no,
my God,
never
Jaret.
seen Close Encounters of the
Jaret.
Third Kind. Is that
Third
right?
Kind.
Never seen it.
That's a great movie that you won't like because you're too old now.
No, maybe, but I mean, just if you don't build it up like as being better than fucking E.T., then I'll be fine.
Oh, you saw E.T.?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen E.T.
God, thanks.
I've
I
seen.
saw E.T.
Yeah.
You did too?
No, she saw it.
No, but did you notice like the special effects were you didn't see Close Encounters. It was very Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That makes
special
sense.
Effects.
Yeah, yeah.
This was Steven Spielberg, and it was
Okay.
about the same time.
I don't think I knew that.
Just had that same early 80s, late 70s special effects
Sure.
look to it.
That thing.
Which,
Yeah.
you know, for that time, really, it was better than Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Give you that.
agreed. I mean that. Oh God, it. When you think back to Back to the Future, as we're watching some of these movies, you're like, Jesus Christ, did
You're
they even,
85. You
Yeah,
dummies.
they didn't pay attention. I mean, like,
guess not.
because some of this shit looks really good, and some of that does not.
Exactly. So there's a big stink on the internet about this whole movie being pointless. Did you guys, anybody read about that?
Oh my God, did I start that trend?
No.
Did I start that thread?
No. It was no.
And could you send me the link? Because I would love to fucking get on that shit right now.
Well, the argument is that the whole movie is completely pointless because if Indiana Jones had not gone and chased after the Ark, the Nazis would have found the Ark just like they did. They would have opened the Ark. They all would have died. And what does it matter? Like it makes,
because when they opened it, they all get zapped.
right.
And okay.
So why does Indiana Jones even need to be involved in the entire movie? Because whether he was involved or whether he was not involved, same outcome.
Right. But I mean, they didn't know what the outcome was going to be.
Well, I mean, I would just say that if that had happened, then the Ark would be sitting there and not in the possession of the United States government, which was the end of the movie where they stuck it in Warehouse 13. And Marion would be dead because they would have killed Marion to get the thing.
Sure. Here's what I would say to all the people who are on that thread. It's a fucking movie. Go fuck yourself. Legos aren't real. They just fucking hurt when you step on them.
Yeah, they do.
So stop being dicks and fucking watch movies.
Well, gentlemen, I guess that just about wraps it up.
Where is the Ark?
I thought we'd settled that. The Ark is somewhere very safe.
It's in Warehouse 13, and they
Right.
made a whole show about it.
You think this is a real thing that happens?
I mean, well, there is supposed to be a real U.S.
Hangar 18.
government, Warehouse 13, where they store artifacts that supposedly are of this kind of nature,
this kind of thing.
aliens, that kind of stuff.
That's like there's a Megadeth song. Hangar 18, I know too much.
Yeah.
You know?
Completely different.
Oh, that's a totally different
That's
thing?
where they...
Hangar 18 is
for
aliens. Warehouse 13 artifacts.
Artifacts.
Get your
Got it.
warehouses right.
What if they find alien artifacts? Where the fuck does that...
That's Theater 17.
17.
Yeah.
Got
Theater
it.
17.
Yep. Totally makes sense.
So in the fourth film, where they had the aliens...
Now, in the fourth film, is that Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, that's the Shia LaBeouf.
And so they
terrible movie.
bring... What's-her-face back?
Yeah, they bring her back.
So, because what I remember in my Indiana Jones travels...
Blonde.
The blonde.
Right.
Right?
That's 2. That's the second one.
Okay. But then they bring...
And the hottest of the blondes, the third one.
Okay.
Yeah, she's hot.
Hottest of the
Yeah,
blondes.
She doesn't have boobs, and I like her.
She may have boobs.
All right, then maybe that's why I like her.
So I'm not wrong in the whole blonde thing because that's the way I remembered it. But so Shia LaBeouf is in the fourth one,
Right.
and he apparently just watched that movie the other day.
Well, they start the movie in Hangar 8 or Warehouse 13, and they're
Okay.
getting something else out of there. And as they're leaving, they sort of pay homage to the Ark that's there. They kind of pass by it and they go, "There's the Ark." Like I said, this movie was voted number 2 on Empire's magazine 500 greatest movies of all time.
Who reads Empire's magazine?
I don't give a fuck. The point is,
no, I really do want to know. Like, let's look it up. What is their readership?
2008. It doesn't matter.
No, but what is their readership?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
Dude, I could also
it was
go
number
to...
2. If it was number 452.
Let him have this.
Okay, if I went to Comic-Con tomorrow and asked everybody what the fucking 10 best movies are in the world, this wouldn't even be a fucking contender. So
saying.
it does matter who the readership is, though.
It was number 2.
It's
though.
not going to be number 2 for fucking Hit Parader.
You're right. It may be 14.
Hangar 14, I know too much. I just wheeze laughed. You've never made me wheeze laugh before.
Oh, here's one reason why you can hate this film.
Okay.
Michael Bay did the storyboards for the action scenes.
Sure.
And after the film's success, he was inspired to be a director.
Oh, okay. And what did he direct?
Shitty movies, all the Transformers. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Also
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, and also.
Yeah,
Shia
but he
LaBeouf.
made a bunch of money doing that. So what? I mean, what? You don't like the Transformers movie?
No, they're shit.
I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
terrible.
they're assuming you were 8 and like Transformers, you'd like them. They throw in a couple hot girls, one being Megan Fox,
All right,
one being
let's
that
just
girl
go ahead
who
and
wears too
say
much
Megan
lip
Fox.
gloss.
Megan Fox.
Yes, second one, blonde girl who can fall through a building
Actually,
73 stories and her lip gloss is still perfect. Like, I mean,
perfect lip
come
gloss.
on.
But however,
it's amazing.
to throw Richard under that bus full of lip gloss,
Which might be a Transformer bus.
which could be a Transformer bus of lip gloss. I don't know. I'm not sure what they would be called, but he actually made me watch the first Transformers movie with him, and
Naked.
yeah,
Right.
that
I
was
was gonna
weird.
say.
Actually, he just said wear some breathable clothing. I don't know. and he said okay, watch this movie. And I was like, I really don't want to watch it. But he always made me watch movies. And then he said, and here is the reason why.
And Megan Fox comes on.
Megan Fox looking
Bends
under the
over the
hood
hood.
of the car. And I was
God,
like,
yes.
okay, Richard, I'm
Yes.
with you. I believe in you now.
The thing, I have a song about her, and I can't say I've ever seen a movie with her in it.
Are you serious?
You never saw what was it? Was it Megan's Body?
Nope.
Jennifer's Body.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
yeah.
I always wanted to see that movie.
No,
Never seen
it
it.
is the worst ever. It's so funny.
it's
like,
horrible.
No,
it's
I've never
awesome,
seen. I've
horrible.
never seen her in a movie, but she's super attractive.
Well, those are kind of like the last two movies before she really got
Honestly,
plastic surgeryed
if you
out, right?
Already, no, also, doesn't matter.
She
Still
got
hot.
plastic surgery.
If you
her
already,
face is like completely different.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's
if you
messed up
already
now.
know Megan Fox is hot, you don't even need to watch either movies because you don't get anything out of it. Just know she's hot and move on with your life.
Megan Fox has got it going on. That's it, right?
No. No, that's a completely different song.
Oh.
But thanks, Rich, for knowing my shit. We'll plug your band in a little while.
This is the part where every fat girl in the world likes to say, "But she's got a weird thumb."
Yeah, she does have a weird thumb,
Yeah,
right?
and that's all we have.
It looks like a toe.
That's all we have.
It's like her thumb. It looks
She's
like
got
a big
toe
toe.
thumb, and we're all like, "Yeah,
I've heard
but
that
look at
before,
her."
but I couldn't
But
find
look at
pictures
her
of it.
thumb.
Yeah.
We all have that. If you look at it's like we, I don't know. You can't ever be Megan Fox.
No, I do that
can't
though
ever have
against.
a toe thumb.
I do that against like everybody though, like because listen,
She's Megan Fox.
I think Brad Pitt is perfect. There's got to be something wrong with him, like toe fungus.
He's my guy too, by the way.
bad breath. Really?
That's my go-to when I say there's a hot guy. He looks like Brad Pitt.
He's
That's,
the fucking
I always
hottest
say,
dude that's ever lived.
Oh, what is he like, Brad Pitt?
Dad.
Who's hotter than Brad Pitt?
There's still hope, honey.
Chris Hemsworth,
Who the fuck is that?
Thor.
Oh, I don't know if that's
I have
gonna
a
fly.
weird thing for Colin Firth. Is that weird?
Yes, that's so weird.
No,
I thought you're
but
married to
that's-
Jared. So
I have a
like
weird
Jane
thing
Austen
for Jaret and
books.
Rich arguing about who the hottest man alive is.
Look,
That's
This is fucking riveting.
It is.
Riveting podcasting is what we're doing right now.
I don't know if we're arguing. So we both like.
We both
Brad Pitt.
fucking agree. Yeah, we're on the same
Hands down,
page.
Brad Pitt.
I
Yeah.
feel like the next movie should be a Brad Pitt movie.
Oh, dude, he's in a couple of epics.
Are you guys doing like 80s stuff?
River Run
No,
Through
we
It?
could do anything.
Fight Club.
It just has to be.
his first
You're
first
welcome.
appearance was Thelma and Louise, right?
Thelma. Well, he was in a. He was in a bunch of like made for TV things or whatever. Thelma and Louise was his breakout movie, though. It's like, what do? I'm a robber. He's a robber.
I barely remember that movie.
Man,
Saw it
California. Oh,
that
man.
was crazy.
Oh,
that was
my-
a great movie,
Oh,
though.
what a fucking good
Barely
movie.
remember that one too.
California. Just put your titty up, Adele. So good.
I really liked.
To this day, when I dig holes to bury bodies, I do
Yeah.
it naked.
Yeah. Do you?
Because of Brad Pitt.
Yeah, you got to do it.
You know?
Yeah. And you actually do dig a hole every once in a while. That's what's fucked up. It's
Well,
like-
no, I
You have guys
pay
that do-
people to do it,
but
when,
you
but
make
when
them
they
do it naked.
No, I'm naked.
you get naked.
No, that would be weird.
And watch 'em in
pay
a
them to
chair.
dig
Yeah, that would
shit.
be weird.
Naked?
I'm gonna pay you to dig this shit. I'm gonna sit here in this lawn chair naked while you do it.
Oh man.
Did you guys like Legends of the Fall?
No, I hated it.
Oh, really?
I
loved
did.
that movie.
I did actually.
And that's an epic.
Okay,
That's
and
definitely
this
an epic.
also proves a point that you both are gay.
Right. We're happy.
I know, and you both are gay for Brad Pitt.
Not that there's
that
anything
movie.
wrong
That
with
movie
it.
consists of Brad Pitt
There's nothing wrong
getting
with
on a horse
Yeah.
and running away, and then running
even
back
have to
to
say
the
there's
home.
nothing
back
I'm
home.
actually okay with that movie. That's a good movie.
That's all it is him leaving and coming back home. That's over and over again. It's
He's
something.
Brad
Except
Pitt
that
on
there's
a
a girl.
horse riding around back and forth. Everyone
Except the
gets
girl
it.
marries
with his
someone
shirt
else.
off.
I don't know. I really like Legends of the Fall. And I also like River Runs Through It.
Yeah.
I actually like Meet Joe Black too.
What does it run through?
Yeah, good one. I like 7.
7 was good.
I like
obviously.
12 Monkeys.
7 was awesome.
12 Monkeys was interesting.
All right.
It
So
was great acting.
Which one was 7?
but
Is that what's in the
just-
box?
Yes, that was.
why don't we do this? Why don't we let the listeners decide for the first time? Because we have 1 week left till Thanksgiving, right?
Did you say Snatch?
Is that correct?
No. It's next week.
Oh, is it next week?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll let the listeners decide. It is okay.
We already have. It's booked.
I know.
No, we already have after Thanksgiving too. That's booked.
Oh, that's Star Wars?
Yeah.
No, it's the week after that.
Are y'all gonna do Christmas vacation for Christmas? Because you fucking should.
No, we're gonna do the Christmas
Hard.
Story. A Christmas Story.
We're not doing Die Hard?
We're fucking 100% doing A Christmas Story.
Okay.
Because I don't even think I've seen that movie, by the way.
This is our first year.
I
We're
know.
going.
Seen a
You've
Christmas
never
Story?
seen a Christmas
I
You
think
never
I've
turned
seen
on the
clips.
TV
We have
at
Thanksgiving.
Christmas time? Fuck you,
We have
Rich.
Thanksgiving.
Jesus
Then we have
Christ.
another week. Then we have Star Wars that next week because it's on the 19th. So
Hey, Rich, you fuck right off.
all right, so now here we have it. So we're gonna let the listeners decide. That man, it's been awesome. The response to the podcast has been great.
Are we going to give them choices, or is just
No, let's just do on our
5,000 different picks?
All right, so for the first time ever, let's do this, Rich. Let's actually put it up on our Facebook. We'll ask the audience. If you're listening to this, which Brad Pitt movie should we podcast about? We'll do it the week after Thanksgiving.
And it has to be. I'm just kidding.
Well, oh, you were gonna decide which movie it's gonna be.
And as long as it's
no, it could be any Brad Pitt movie, right?
yeah,
So our suggestions would be
this could go really wrong.
why? No, I mean, like,
Well,
dude,
he was on Growing Pains. We could end up be doing.
he wasn't on Growing
He was on
Pains.
2
Was he
episodes
really?
of
Holy
Growing
shit!
Pains.
Okay, but we're talking movies,
Okay.
fuckface.
All right, so starting with Thelma and Louise.
Right. So
don't pick Johnny Suede though, right?
I don't know. Go. Do you have it pulled up?
Yeah, we got Thelma and Louise, Johnny Suede, where you had that big bouffant.
I don't even. Nobody's gonna pick that. They're all gonna pick it now.
Two Fisted Tail, Cool World. Oh, it might have been Cool World where he had that big bouffant hairdo. He could have had it in both. I don't know. A River Runs Through It. Love it.
Why don't we narrow it down then?
All right. California, True Romance.
True Romance, though, he's just the roommate.
Interview
super
with a
small.
Vampire.
Fucking. What a great movie, though.
Really?
True Romance.
Oh, I thought you said Interview.
Yeah,
That's a
not
great
so
movie.
much.
No,
Tiny Reese Witherspoon.
No.
Kirsten Dunst.
No,
Kirsten
Oh,
Dunst.
sorry. I apologize.
Man, that was way
Yeah.
off.
I saved it.
Never
Alright.
talk bad about the prom queen.
I was Googling
Snatch.
I was
Oh
Googling
my
clubbed
God,
fingers.
Snatch
Great
is
one.
amazing.
All right, so let's narrow it down. I vote.
Friends.
What the
He was
TV
on-
show?
He was on Friends.
Stop doing that. We're talking
Movies.
movies. Jesus Christ.
Home wrecking horror.
All right.
He was the voice of Sinbad on Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to either do, you can do Thelma and Louise, California,
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oceans 13, 14, 15, 16,
No.
and 17.
All of those are out.
Fight Club.
We'll take it again.
Mega Man.
We'll take it again.
We're not taking it again.
Fight
It's all
Club.
in.
Fight
Yeah.
Club.
So, Fight Club,
Inglorious Bastards.
that's a good one.
Oh my
All of
God.
these are legal. Just vote for some shit.
World War Z. That's
Right.
a badass movie.
All right. So,
Inglourious Bastard's so good.
which one do you want us to podcast about?
Because Jared and I think Brad Pitt is the hottest guy on the planet.
Ever.
We want you to pick the movie where
That-
we go
Talk
gaga
about how
over
hot
it.
he is.
That's right.
Yeah. And obviously podcast about his acting.
Well, I mean, I guess.
I will say this. I've thought about Fight Club in the past.
Fight Club, yeah,
I'm
what
so
I just said that. It's already been
no, but I will say that I've thought about that one a bunch. Gosh, that movie is so.
Definitely
It's
has a
hard
lot
to
of cool
follow.
lines.
I almost feel like we would need 2 episodes on that one. Like it's just that insane. Like I just showed Casey the other day. I'm just like, that's Jared Leto. She's like, who's Jared Leto? The blonde guy that literally gets his face destroyed.
Yeah.
Mind you, I didn't say who's Jared Leto.
No. You meant in the
Which-
movie, baby.
I know. I'm
Which
saying.
guy?
I didn't realize he was in Fight Club.
Yeah, and so he's, but you know those little things like that. You know, Meatloaf is the one with the big tits. A lot of people don't realize that. You know,
Yeah.
fuck, that movie's good.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Soundtrack.
In all seriousness, I didn't hate it. I more kept trying to figure out, you know, again, like why I couldn't remember things and why I didn't have lines memorized and all of this and again, just realizing that I hadn't seen it. But man, when
That helps.
when that theme song kicked in, you know, it was just isn't it amazing?
Infectious.
And I said that, I think we talked about this in Goonies a little bit, right? Where, you know, that theme, Jurassic Park, obviously Star Wars, Goonies, this one, you know, there's just those songs, and it's just almost always that orchestrated, you know.
Are you about to drop the name?
John Williams
Yes.
kind of, you know, that sound, you know, when they sound like that, and it's just so anthemic where like, gosh, I mean, you guys obviously will remember that first time. So Star Wars came out in 78. 77. So I was 5 years old, and my parents took me to see it at the theater, and I don't remember a lot about it, but of course I remember, you know, seeing it a few times at the theater, obviously seeing Empire. Obviously that's more what I remember seeing at the theater and yada yada. But man, those letters start scrolling across the screen or whatever, and then that theme kicks in. Like, this really does, you know, in all fairness to this movie, have that same effect.
Absolutely.
It 100% does. I mean,
that era, you know, the whole thing. I mean, you know, E.T., I mean, Jaws.
Yeah.
The music is... Oh my! I mean, it's just such a part of the movie.
100%. We talked about that.
Lost through the 80s when every 80s theme song went with.
We actually talked about this, Mark, and maybe you'll remember this, but we talked about this on our Back to the Future podcast about how that's sort of one of the last ones that did that.
Right.
That one happened to be able to merge hit music, Huey Lewis writing this Power of Love and these huge hits, but also that orchestrated sound that, like, you'll never you anytime you hear 4 notes to it, you know, oh shit, that's Marty McFly right there, you know.
Right.
And gosh, there's just something about that kind of music that really just did tie your brain, so to speak,
straight to the movie,
and give you that feeling like you're sitting right there watching it again, and like you're in the movie. Well, Rich, I do have to thank you for this because what? No, I'm being serious.
Fuck you.
No, I'm being serious. I have to thank you because I like realizations in my life. I actually am appreciative of the fact that now I know that I had never actually seen the original Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, that's weird, you know, because I went through my whole childhood knowing what a huge movie it was and knowing where it came from and who it came from and all of that, and like what all other movies it expanded into, and you know, and these relationships and these actors and where they all went on to go, well, basically where Harrison Ford went on to go. I don't know who else exploded out of the scene, so to speak, but
the mom from Sandlot.
Well, yeah, well, you know, fucking good role. But you know, that's an interesting thing to me. Like to as I watched it and then kind of finally put it together in my head and just, holy shit, that's the reason I've fucking never seen this movie before.
Right.
So weird.
Right.
But, you know, I will say, you know, the story was cool. I like it as an adult probably more than I would have as a child as far as the just the overall plot and, you know, what's going on in it. The adventure was great. I do think the adventure of Goonies in Goonies... The adventure in Goonies was equally as good. But
I just think you had an emotional connection with the Goonies.
Well, I think you have an emotional connection with this one.
No, I mean,
though.
like, you know, with the whole brother thing and
no,
that whole...
stop. Don't psychologically...
You love your brother.
Don't psychologically fuck...
Come on, you can say it.
Don't
just
get
tell
all
him.
psychologically
look,
weird
just
on
talk
me.
directly to your brother right now and tell him how you feel about him.
You should. You just tell your brother he was too old for you to love him.
He's too young. He's younger than me.
He's
11 years
younger than
younger.
you.
I don't even know the
God.
guy. I'm just kidding. He's listening.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
If he's listening to this right now, what are you fuck? Hey, get back to bed, fuckface.
He's not that young. Jesus Christ. He's fucking married with a kid.
What? And he's fucking 14? That is weird.
He's 11 years younger than me.
Oh, I thought he was 11 years old.
30s.
That's fucking
something.
weird. But no, this was a cool movie to watch and to and actually a fun one to realize, man, I mean, this is one I can sit and watch with the boys and I think they'll think it's really interesting. So one that we will definitely watch again, even though I talk a lot of shit. And
I think if you saw it on cable and you hit one of the scenes that were, you know, like the boulder scene or the chase scene or the when he falls into the pit of snakes and they're getting out of there, I think it would grab you and then you would just finish watching it.
The thing about the boulder scene though is like that is literally, or as you would say, literally. If you were watching a motherfucking montage of movies, you know, and you would see these things that we've done. You know, like
Definitely.
Doc. Are you saying you built a time machine out of a DeLorean, and then you would hear Meg Ryan doing her orgasm,
Right.
and then you would see
Absolutely the
him running
boulder.
from that fucking
Right.
boulder, and you see it all the time. So I think that one of the things that we're stumbling upon is that our tastes are drawn to iconic fucking movies.
Yeah, I mean, this movie definitely is iconic.
And definitely played a huge role in your life, and I think that's super cool. And it was a pleasure to watch it, and a pleasure to talk about it with you today. What plugs do you have as I'm bullshitting my way through the end of this podcast?
So I'm Rich_Coleman on Twitter, and we are JaretGoesToTheMovies.com, Facebook.com/JaretGoesToTheMovies. Pretty much search for Jaret Goes to the Movies, and we're anywhere.
Everywhere. We're Jaret
Pinterest,
Movies,
Tumblr.
Jaret Movies on Twitter. Hey, here's the thing. We are loving doing this, and we want to keep doing this. So thank you, everybody, for your support. Please subscribe. Please review. Give us a bunch of stars and all that shit.
Yeah, go on iTunes and give us a little
Just
review.
give us
you don't
a little
have to type
love.
anything. Just give us 5 stars.
Just go, holy shit, Rich is attractive on the radio. Or the internet, whatever this is.
I mean, they could just tell by my voice, though, right?
Yeah, dude. Your voice is so hot.
And my calves, right?
Guys, we're getting near the end of the preemptive Christmas season. The Bowling for Soup Christmas sweaters are almost gone. Go check those out.
Oh, and go to op.com and ask them to bring those shorts back.
Right, because he wants Magnum PI legs. Now, let me ask you this: if those do come back, do you have to shave your upper thigh?
No.
Or does the hair go all
Magnum never
The
shaves.
corduroy does it for you.
That's right.
It just rubs it
rips
off.
it right
it's
out.
like sandpaper. It just rips it right off. I am Jaret2113.
What is 2113?
I am JARET2113 everywhere. It's a Bowling for Soup thing. I'm surprised you didn't know that. Thanks for being a fan of my music.
Do you know what that is?
He doesn't need to know what it is. It's just a song, and he doesn't. What the fuck does he care? He's not on the spot.
He's your future father-in-law.
He's not on the spot. You are.
I built him a fucking custom wall-mounted guitar case for his special Bowling for Soup guitar.
That's true.
And he's like, "That'd be so cool if it had
by the way.
2113 on it." And I was like, "All right."
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
he
ask any
fucking made it.
questions.
You didn't ask
He made it
I
questions.
just
happen.
fucking did it.
He just
did it.
fucking did it.
Just do it, Rich.
By the way,
is that the
He pretty
road
much
you guys
said,
lived on?
"Hope
Is that
this
like
is-
the farm road?
this is also the man that built the studio that we're in right
I'm
here.
right, though, right? Farm road?
And no, that's all made up. But this is the studio that we're in. It's called the Daycare, and that's the man that built it. It's pretty cool. So I'm everywhere. JARET2113. Check out bowlingforsoup.com. There's always something going on. We have a bunch of stuff happening. We got a Denton show coming up and a UK tour in February featuring the Dolly Rots and Lacey and now MC Lars. And I think that's it, man.
You're doing like a lip sync thing, aren't you?
Yeah, you can do. Oh, we do have a contest going on. You can lip sync or karaoke, which basically sing over our your favorite Bowling for Soup song. Post the video. Everything is up there on bowlingforsoup.com. Go check it out, and you can win. You can have dinner with us, which basically is leftover Chinese food on your plate. Yeah. Rich, as always, you're the best.
You're the best.
No, shut up. Love you.
All right.
Suck it.
Say thank you and stuff.
Thank you, guys. Okay, bye.